Curry is hardly a staple in the Chinese diet. But believe it or not, this exotic flavor somehow brought a failing Chinese restaurant right back from the dead. In a city where even the older generation rarely touches curry, the owner took a gamble, drawing on 5 years of hard work in Southeast Asia. He blended traditional curry with Chinese noodles and fried rice and completely captured the hearts and stomachs of today's young people. So, how does a tiny 4-person joint pull off a miracle like this? Today, my camera is following the owner every step of the way, from handpicking fresh ingredients at the early morning market to bringing the heat in a fast-paced kitchen. Get ready for an immersive look into a single crazy day in the life of this comeback story. This is a small town in Quanzhou in southern China. Most of the houses here were actually designed and built by the locals themselves. And this middle-aged man, just getting ready and pulling on his socks, is Thomas, the founder of the curry shop. Every morning, Thomas jumps on his rickety old motorcycle, heading off to the local market to pick up fresh ingredients for the day. Look around, and you'll see clusters of self-built homes, a far cry from the neatly planned high-rises in cities like Beijing or Shanghai. Decades ago, this area was just a scattering of tiny villages. But as small businesses and private workshops took off, locals started making good money fast. Instead of moving away, they built multi-story homes right on their family land. Over time, these expanding villages merged together, slowly shaping the town you see today. This is the wet market. Thomas visits every single day, tucked right into the narrow spaces between residential buildings. It's not a fancy, government-planned shopping plaza, but a bustling hub that organically grew alongside the community. Most vendors are locals, whose families have been running these stalls for generations, with some shops going back 40 or 50 years. Everyone knows everyone here. As soon as the vendors spot Thomas walking up, they seamlessly hand over the ingredients. They've already weighed out for him. All Thomas has to do is pay and he is on his way.
他都认识你，就知道你要来。
对，我们是每天早上都在重复的买，他都知道我车一来他就。
大概会有几样东西
10来样嘛。
Ever since starting the restaurant, Thomas has insisted on doing the market runs himself every single day. For one, it is about freshness. The morning market always has the best picks. But even more importantly, it is about his secret curry recipe. That's a one-of-a-kind formula he refuses to let anyone else in on.
我看很多饭店都是他们送到店里面。
没有，我自己出来买。
为什么要自己出来买？
第一是价格的问题，第二是新鲜度。我在这个菜市场买那个药，你就不要买了。买那个中药。
这是秘方。
The recipe for Coca-Cola is written on paper and locked in a secure vault. But in China, the top spice blends behind amazing food are almost never written down. They live entirely in the chef's head. We're talking about complex combinations of dozens of different spices, with precise measurements that Thomas has completely memorized, all by heart.
这是你自己调的秘方
啊？这个药味是一个专门在做这个卤药的老师告诉我的。
它会用在什么饭上？
它也是用在这个牛肉跟猪肉上面。
有什么？它有什么功效吗？作用？
香啊！但是这个都是健康食品，没有科技。
就是那个草药
草药，
树皮啊，叶子。
The market is just a 10-minute ride from Thomas's restaurant, which sits right along one of the city's main roads. The moment he steps inside, Thomas puts on his apron and heads straight for the kitchen to start mixing his signature secret curry formula.
先不要拍。
This is his shop, a cozy space with just 10 tables. Including Thomas himself, there are only 4 people working here. The first to arrive every day is the cleaning lady, who also handles all the dishwashing duties.
阿姨，你几点来了？你几点来了？8点来。这8点开门。
对呀，怎么了？
没事，我就问问你。
你昨天哥哥是不是你女朋友？
什么用啊？
你昨天我的哥哥预计是不是你女朋友？昨天晚上。
那是网红朋友，他的朋友。
我好像是女朋友太老了。
Now, in China, If you're around 30 years old and run into an older relative or elder, you're almost guaranteed to get hit with. Are you married yet? Or do you have a girlfriend? It's pretty much the classic icebreaker older generations use with younger folks.
现在我们要做什么？
我们开始腌牛肉。
腌了就是今天用的。
对，今天的量。
这个必须要用新鲜牛肉吗？
对，才会有口感的。每天都要用新鲜的食材。
这个是哪个部位的肉？
这个是前腿肉，它有的部位是专门是涮火锅的，有的是煮的，有的是烫的，它不一样。我们要把它洗一下，把那个血水把它给洗掉，然后再沥干。
This fresh beef is the main ingredient for his signature curry beef noodles. Since it is the middle of summer and fewer people order hot soup noodles, Thomas only marinated 3 bowls of beef today, just enough to cover the morning, lunch, and dinner rushes.
这就是地瓜粉、
红薯粉
啊。本身这个牛肉它就是有一点水分嘛，因为能让这个水分守住这个水分啊。
An hour later, the other 2 team members start trickling in. One handles the front register and serves dishes, while the other works as a cook in the kitchen. With the whole team assembled, Thomas finally finds a moment to step over and show off one of his flagship dishes, his famous curry beef noodles. While most Chinese cooking relies on high-heat stir-frying, slow cooking over low heat is actually Thomas's secret weapon.
为什么要放鸡蛋呀？
你鸡蛋它本身打下去的话，它这个锅才不会起到翻锅的。等一下它，你现在如果火要是这个油度如果太高的话，它这个不是被烧焦了。哦，这个口感就不好，就变成僵硬了。
Right now, he is preparing the topping for the noodles. He tosses in a generous scoop of his custom curry paste, giving it a good even stir until everything is coated and fragrant. Then, scoops it out for later. This batch is just enough to dress about 5 bowls of curry noodles.
这才正式开始煮面。
对，现在要正式开始煮面了。
Thomas uses alkaline noodles for this dish. Made with food-grade lye, these slightly yellowish noodles have a wonderfully springy texture that holds up well during boiling. Once the noodles are cooked halfway through, Thomas swirls in a scoop of his signature curry paste, instantly turning the broth thick, aromatic, and rich with that golden curry hue.
煮一碗这样的面大概要多久
5、6分钟。
The final touch, topping it off with the freshly stir-fried beef and a handful of crisp greens. Piping hot and fresh out of the pot, the noodles are surrounded by a vibrant, golden broth, rich velvety, and unbelievably appetizing. This is the very first bowl of curry beef noodles served at Thomas's shop today. It goes for 20 yuan, about $3 US. The broth has this rich, glowing golden brown hue that practically screams flavor. When you lift a big cluster of those springy noodles with your chopsticks, every single strand is coated in the thick curry broth, glossy and smooth. Between those broth-soaked noodles and the melt-in-your-mouth beef, it is enough to make your mouth water on the spot. Simmered for hours, the broth brings together the rich savory essence of beef and the deep aroma of curry. As you scoop it up and drop it back into the bowl, it pours like liquid silk. Just watching it flow, you can already imagine that rich, luscious flavor-packed bite. Honestly, I can't wait to dive right in and give it a try. The bouncy noodles are completely coated in that thick, rich curry sauce one bite in, and you just compulsively slurp down another. It's absurdly addictive. If you savor it slowly, the crisp greens cut through the richness perfectly. The velvety egg drops melt on your tongue, and the thick cuts of beef are so tender they almost fall apart, completely free of any toughness. The rich meaty taste blends seamlessly with the aromatic curry. As a Chinese person who doesn't usually eat curry, what struck me most was how smooth, savory, and balanced it felt, ending with a subtle, lingering sweetness. While I was wolfing down my noodles, Thomas whipped up a bowl for himself and sat down across from me. Facing the camera, he began to share the story behind how he came up with this unique recipe.
你每天会自己煮一份吃吗？
不一定，我偶尔的大概一个星期，我都会自己吃1到2碗，试一下，看这个做的是不是这个调料有没有发生变化，或者说面条的这个口感有没有变。说起这个面哦，我开这个店的时候，就有很多朋友，然后就有的客人他进来他就想要吃一碗面，然后我们这边每一次他来问有没有面我们都说没有，那种心情很低落，我又损失了一个客户，那我就有一个念头，想说我得去找一个合适的面来煮给客人吃，能吸住这些来问我有没有面条这些客人，我就休假，出去到处吃，到处走，打听朋友，他们都会跟我介绍说啊哪里的面好吃，哪里的面好吃，吃的我觉得大家的口味都是大同小异。好了，那我平时又特别喜欢这个咖喱，然后我就有一天在夜里睡不着的时候，我说我如果这个面加个咖喱，不知道会出什么样的结果跟这个味道。然后我就很大胆买了咖喱我也买了很多种，有咖喱粉、咖喱块、咖喱酱，我买了很多。我朋友不是在香港吗？叫他从香港给我寄回来，包括在印度，我也有叫朋友从印度寄回来，结合了很多的咖喱，最后我就选择了1块咖喱下去调出来的这个汤，调出来，这个汤头还可以，然后我就下了一点点面下去试一下，觉得说，这个味道好像就是我想要的那个感觉，然后就慢慢的一直在演变，一直在增加，比如说我会叫我爱人尝一下看，他说比之前好很多。
老板讲话。
有一天，那一天可能也是比较幸运，我就做出来这碗面，朋友他们都说好吃，然后有的客人我问他，我说吃的怎么样？他说你不用问，反正我们还会来，那我心里面很舒服，就慢慢的做起来。
Actually, the curry beef noodles were only the second dish Thomas created after perfecting his curry recipe. The real game changer, the flagship dish that pulled his failing restaurant back from the brink of collapse, was his curry beef rice. And right now, Thomas is getting ready to stir. Fry the key side. Ingredients for that iconic dish. What Thomas is whipping up here is a classic Chinese home-style dish. Sour and spicy stir-fried seasonal veggies. Thomas explained that while his curry is already milder than traditional Indian curry, the heavy spice profile can still feel overwhelming for a lot of Chinese palates, making it hard to finish a whole meal without getting overloaded. So, he came up with a clever fix, pairing it with a light, tangy stir-fry. It cuts right through the richness of the curry and keeps every bite tasting fresh. Just as the side veggies are ready, the first order for curry beef rice comes in. Thomas springs into action. He plates up a scoop of steaming hot rice, adds the freshly stir-fried veggies, ladles over a generous portion of pre-simmered curry beef, and finishes it off with an extra spoonful of rich gravy. Just like the beef noodles, this runs 20 yuan, around $3. As noon approaches, the shop really comes alive. A steady stream of dine-in customers trickles through the doors, while online delivery orders keep buzzing continuously. Back in the kitchen, Thomas and his fellow cook are working full throttle to pump out bowl after bowl of noodles. Since most of his clientele are young people, Thomas also added crowd pleasers like crispy fried chicken wings and seared pork chops to the menu. Beyond his 2-star items, Thomas still keeps a few traditional local recipes from the shop's earlier days. Plus, he is already hard at work, testing out 2 new creations, curry fried rice and curry instant noodles. Just then, A rather special customer walks in. Word has it he comes by every single day, sitting here from 10 in the morning until the shop closes at night. Even yesterday, when I dropped by off camera to scout the place, he was already there, spending the entire day in the exact same spot. He sits by the window, staring outside, sipping his drink in total silence. Since he's a neighborhood local and has a disability, Thomas specially holds this cozy window seat for him, and always throws in a few free appetizers to go with his drinks. Today, I plan to strike up a conversation with him under the guise of being a traveling tourist. I want to ask him about the local culture, see if I can get him to open up, and hopefully find out why he spends every day drinking here alone.
可以哦。
哦，
我给你看一下我们这边闽南的哦，哦，有那个白皙的哦，哦，就分数给你带你下去拍一下闽南的风俗是怎么样的。老一辈说了，好，要玩哦，是杭州西湖啦。要死在福建泉州了。
您今年几岁了？
今年47。
喝酒喝了多少年了？
喝酒喝了多少年？30年。
你的孩子多大了？
没孩子。
你连续来这儿多久了？
啊，来这边呢，3年了。
3年了。
啊，他们开个业就来喝了。
为什么要来这里？
兄弟啊。我们钱给别人赚，哦，干嘛要给别人赚？给自己人赚啊！我跟他也是从小一起长大起来的，哦，他开，我们过来给他捧场。你要天天喝，你干嘛要钱要给别人赚了？干嘛不给自己兄弟？
那你为什么要天天来这儿喝酒？
为什么？本来我就自己想喝了，去别的地方这边人喝还可以开玩笑。
你一天能喝多少？
一天呢12瓶。是啊，一人要喝1吨啊。
你怎么这么爱喝这个喜力啤酒啊？其他啤酒喝不了吗？
我好几个兄弟哦，喜力你不喝哦，喜力公司会打。一人几吨哦？
那为什么不少喝一点？
少喝一点，喝不够哦，比起还难受。我喜欢喝酒，就是喜力。
It turns out this regular is actually a childhood friend from Thomas's hometown. Having lived with a disability since he was young, he never really had the chance to build a normal social circle. In a way, Thomas's restaurant has become his sanctuary, a second home where he feels safe. Every day he sits quietly by the window with a drink, and whenever things slow down in the kitchen, Thomas steps out to sit with him and catch up. Now, on the day of our shoot, a little unexpected drama unfolded. Right outside, 2 of Thomas's neighbors got into a heated argument over a parking spot, since they were screaming at each other in the heavy local dialect. I couldn't even begin to translate what was being said.
在吵什么？
这个车位，他说是他家门口，然后他的车停到他家门口，他是这个意思。但这个具体怎么划分，咱们不清楚。这马路边
都是公共车位嘛，
就属于公共车位吧。
他说那是他家车位
啊。
After the noise settled down, Thomas ended up becoming the go-to confidant. One of the neighbors literally chased him from the front dining area all the way back into the kitchen, venting non-stop. Thomas patiently stood there, listening to every single frustration about the parking dispute, and agreed to step in as a mediator to help settle the score.
这个酱料是用来做什么？
用来炒那个牛腩的。
This is Thomas's secret curry paste, the absolute soul behind his signature curry beef rice. After a bit of convincing, Thomas kindly agreed to reveal his entire cooking process on camera, leaving out only the secret recipe for the paste itself.
这个是麻油，芝麻油。
芝麻油，不是等于香油吗？
对啊，这整个是香油啊。
Right here, we have beef that's been blanched and cut into chunks, and that oil going into the wok. That is pure sesame oil. Thomas told us that stir-frying with sesame oil gives the beef a much richer, deeper aroma. The beef has to be tossed continuously over high heat to cook off all the excess moisture, which tightens up the meat and locks in the texture. This vigorous tossing goes on for about half an hour, with a custom blend of herbal spices and rock sugar added along the way to build up the flavors. The moment his custom curry paste hits the wok, the beef instantly takes on a golden, mouth-watering glaze, flooding the entire kitchen with an irresistible aroma. For the final touch, Thomas transfers the stir-fried beef into a pressure cooker, adds water, and lets it simmer to perfection.
要压多久？
半个小时。
Now, it's finally time to taste Thomas's flagship curry beef rice. I specifically asked them to serve it up just like they would for any regular customer. But even then, looking at the sheer amount of beef piled on top, it's mind-blowing that a portion this generous costs only $3. Since the lunch rush has already passed, the dish might not look quite as fresh and vibrant as it does fresh out of the pot. But one bite changes everything. The rich, fall-apart tender beef wraps around rice that's soaked through with sauce. Every single grain, originally dry, becomes soft, glossy, and bursting with flavor. You barely even need to chew as the rich beef and the spices explode together in your mouth. It's so ridiculously satisfying that you just compulsively take bite after bite. Honestly, for a second, I completely forgot I was even filming a video. By the time I snapped back to reality, I'd scraped the whole bowl clean. Since Thomas's shop mainly caters to the lunch rush, they close up much earlier than your typical restaurant. For 2 straight years, that special regular has been sitting right here, just like today, from early morning all the way until closing time. From taking his first bold leap into the food industry, to staring closure right in the face, to finally bouncing back with 2 wildly popular signature dishes, Thomas has walked the full path of an entrepreneur. Tonight, we're following Thomas back to his home to sit down and discuss the true secrets behind his journey, along with his future plans for growing the business and potentially expanding into a franchise chain. This exclusive interview will be available over on my membership channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Tommy, and I'll see you in the next episode.
稳定之后，我就会去做一个形象店。
形象店。
对。